Hello students, welcome to EasyElimu Learning Simplified. My name is Mr. Stanley Ombogo. So dear students, we are still looking at the analysis of Parliament of Alls by Adipo Sidang. And in this interesting episode, I'd like to take you through the character and characterization that we have in Act 1 of the play. So remember, in Act 1 introduces us to the massacre of the weaver birds, that is Osogo. Then it also talks about, that is the All's propaganda campaign and the Moneybags idea to come up with another bill that is seen only to be favoring, that is the Alls. So, dear students, some of the characters that we have in this act are the likes of Osogo. Apart from Osogo, there are also other characters mentioned, like the Red String. Apart from Red String, we also have, that is Arum Tidi, who is the ground, that is the chief propagandist, and also the ground hornbill. Then we also have, that is, there is also the next character, that is Telltale. Telltale, remember, is the woodpecker. So those are just some of the characters that we have in the act. Now, uh, remember that a character is simply a player in a literary text, like the ones that we are now having in this literary text, or rather this play, that is the Parliament of Alls. So talking about the character portrayals, let us start by looking at the character traits of Osogo. So we are told that Osogo is a wise male weaver bird. So he is synonymous with the flute, which he either plays on stage or reminds us of his presence in the background throughout the play. So he is the first character to appear on stage, which underlines his importance in the play. So this is hinted by his that is latent anger after the Weaver massacre. So the immediate introduction of Red String completes the two camps at war with each other. Now, the first trait or character portrayal that we have about Osogo is that he is intelligent and artistic. So he plays the flute during the course of the play, which forms the undercurrent controlling the mood and atmosphere of the events. So again, he uses the flute to send coded messages to the birds, thereby controlling the direction of the fomenting rebellion of other birds. So he also keeps the day birds informed and the owls deceived. So another character trait that we are also able to identify from Osogo is that he is empathetic and sympathetic. So in this trait, we are told that the death of fellow weaver birds, and especially a close friend, really affects him. So in the act, we find him mourning when the play opens. So he says that the murdered weaver bird had a right to life. That is, he refers to his friend who was murdered in the Weaver massacre. So another thing about Osogo, dear students, is that he is critical. So Osogo criticizes the owls and their apparent control of life and death. So he criticizes the owls for the that is insincerity and double standards. In this, we are told that, or we are made to understand that the owls make rules and then break the same rules, though they want others to observe those rules. So that is unfair. That is some unfairness that we are seeing in the bird's kingdom. So another thing about Osogo, that is the weaver, is that he is melancholic but perceptive. So Osogo remains sad throughout the play, which underscores the seriousness of the struggle against the owls. And we are told that his flute in the background serves to emphasize this. So he easily interprets the owl's intention of destroying the daybirds, especially the weaver birds, for their revolt. So Osogo sees through the owl's union with other animals as a scheme to terrorize the daybirds. So another thing about Osogo is that he is optimistic. So we are told that despite the recent massacre of weaverbirds, he remains hopeful of change and tells Redstring that change is coming soon. So he is hopeful, or we can say he is optimistic. So he says that a time is coming when all birds will have a sane parliament. So according to Osogo, the current regime or the current parliament is insane. So another thing is that he is supportive. So Osogo is supportive of Oyundi and remains by her side, physically and ideally until the end of the play. So again, he's encouraging. We are told that when Ochongorio seems to lose hope that anything can be done about the owls, he gives comfort, saying that he suffers from chronic hope. So again, Osogo is symbolic in the play, dear students. So he is symbolic in the sense that he represents the sorrow and solitude of those left by loved ones, especially when the circumstances prevailing prevent them from, that is, ameliorating the situation. So in the play, Osogo represents the wider family of weaverbirds, especially those that are killed during the Weaver massacre. So this is the first thing he talks about when we meet him on stage. That is when we first come across him in the play in Act 1. So this is also one major thing that controls the plot. Thus, it is important as an instigating action which causes the conflict between the owls and the other birds. Dear students, on to the next thing still under symbolism, that is Osogo being symbolic. We are still told that he is also symbolic in as far as he reminds the owls and again the audience uh, of what they are guilty of. So he is not only representative of the conscience eating at the owls, now that they couldn't kill him, but he is a constant reminder of what the owls are capable of. So we are told that his flute playing in the background sets the melancholic mood of the play and underlies the struggle of the daybirds. So his flute constantly aches both the king and moneybags, urging them to do something about their conscience by getting rid of him. So this drives the plot forward, dear students, in that both the king and the moneybags go to great extremes, which hastens their downfall. So he remains steadfast as Oyundi's ally and as one of the leaders of the Daybirds up to the end of their struggle. So in this act, Osoko can also be seen to be cautious. This is because he is cautious in his dealings with Redstring after the owls had killed their families. So he tells Redstring to leave or he will fly away. So another thing about him is that he is inquisitive. That is, he asks Redstrings many questions. He asks Redstrings many questions about breaking of the laws that are passed. So his inquisitive nature is also seen when he asks Redstring what he wants. So the Parliament of Owls is silent when daybirds and grain eaters are killed. But Redstring is here still, that is going after him and disturbing him. So Osogo is also bitter, dear students. That is, he expresses his anger at the killings of daybirds and grain eaters, while the Parliament of Owls does nothing and completely nothing about it. So Let's look at the next character that we also have in the act, dear students, that is red string. So we are told that red string is a male owl. So red string acts as the conduit between the owls and other birds, especially when there is a thorny issue to be straightened out. So it's used by the owls, especially moneybags, to do the dirty work for them. So red string, sorry, is insincere and cunning. He pretends to apologize to Osogo about his having been caught in the middle during the Weaver massacre. Yet we later see him planning worse crimes on other birds. So, for instance, he plans the murder of Arum Tidi, and we see him planning to have Oyundi for a feast with other owls. So in this, he tries to calm Osogo after the Weaver massacre in order to bring him to the side of the owls by pretending that he wasn't one of the targets of the owls during the massacre. So failing in this, he resorts to threats. So another thing about the red string owl is that he is manipulative. We are told that he plays around with the Telltale's intelligence, appealing to her sense of pride in order to get her to do his dirty work. So when he appears to fail, he tries the same with the sofa Arum Tidi. So when the work is done, he participates in Arum Tidi's murder, proving that he only entertained him for as long as he was useful to his purposes. So another thing about the red string is that he is threatening. So we are told that when he when he is unable to get anywhere with both Osogo and Telltale, he intimidates and bullies them. So when Osogo accuses the owls of befriending Python, red string says he is acting treasonably and is out of order. So he issues threats. So red string is also shrewd. So in that he believes in tackling one problem at a time. So he turns to Arum Tidi when Telltale refuses to play ball. That is when Telltale refuses to spread the propaganda or the lies. So he then begins planning against Arum Tidi. Immediately, he suspects that the latter and his propaganda campaign contains more than meets the eye. And when he feels that Arum Tidi knows too much and might no longer be the necessary cog in his deck, he does what? He comes up with a way to eliminate him. So another thing about that is red string is that he is hypocritical and pretentious. So he pretends that the moonlight law is good, while indeed working together with moneybags to profit the latter. So moneybags uses that is red string to effect the moonlight law, and he appoints the blind Oliktiga to be counting and registering the eggs of the birds. Dear students, how about we look at some character traits and portrayals of Telltale, the woodpecker. So Telltale is a female woodpecker and one who is short of intelligence. So as a result, the owls use her as a propagandist among other daybirds to make it easier for their rule to be accepted without question. So she starts as hypocritical, pretentious, and traitorous. So she's the conduit which Red String uses to spread propaganda throughout the Bird Kingdom without getting his hands dirty. So another thing about Telltale is that Telltale is inquisitive. He throws many questions to Red String concerning Moonlight tax bill. And we are also told that he is observant. That is, she points out that the Moonlight tax bill is not for the welfare of the birds, but to enrich members of Parliament of Owls. So Telltale is also sarcastic. That is when she sarcastically laughs at Red String when he tells her she has crossed a red line. Then he is also humorous. That is, she says that Oyundi makes owls looks headless. So let's look at the character portrayals of Arum Tidi in this act. So dear students, Arum Tidi is a male hornbill who is also a propagandist for the owls. So he is cunning and prides himself in his wit, which draws from its turning words. And this way, he confuses the meaning of the words. So some of the character traits of Arum Tidi is that he is narcissistic, vain, and greedy. So Arum Tidi enjoys being flattered, which makes it easy for Red String to use him. So he agrees to betray his fellow daybirds simply for the prospect of dining with the king at the royal trees. He also betrays them for food. Another character trait that we can also talk about is that Arum Tidi is cunning. So he advises Red String to introduce a law against hammering on trees in order to take care of, his rival, that is Telltale, the woodpecker, because the latter is more convincing at her propagandist ways. So this way, the propagandist job is left solely to him, and this is what leads to his demise as we read further. So again, Arum Tidi is conspirational. We are told that he agrees with Red String that whatever they have met and discussed should remain between them. So we also told that he is naive and short-sighted. That is, he fails to see that the owls are only using him to their advantage, which puts him in a grave danger should the owls no longer need him, which eventually happens. So he fails to see the import of the information he shares with the dangerous owls, such as moneybags and red string, and where that will leave him. That is whether that will leave them when they get an alternative, or if they should find themselves against the wall. So as a result, he gets killed for knowing too much. Then another thing about Arum Tidi is that he is gullible. So we are told that he swallows hook, line, and sinker. All Red String's lies about what the latter will do for him, while Red String plans with the money bags to kill him. So he is very, I can use the word stupid. So he thinks that that is, he and Red String are on the same page, that they are reading on the same page, whereas Red String is having a kind of different idea, that is to have him eliminated after they have used him to do their dirty work. So that marks the end of character and characterization for Act 1, dear students. Please keep it easy, Elimu. Until next time. Once again, I'm your teacher, Mr. Stanley Ombogo. Bye.